one caveat about the demo that I'm going to be showing you today for Groovepages, which you're just going to love, and that's coming in about 12 minutes. Okay. Um, Groovepages launches to the world at on December 8th. That is when we go live. That is about exactly, I think 5 weeks away, or 4.5 weeks, or whatever it is. In coding time, with the amount of developers that we have on this team, that's like 3 months more of work that we're going to be doing. So obviously, what I'm showing you is quote unquote, like prototype ready, or when they first roll out the Tesla and they say it's coming out next year, right? It's only going to improve from when it launches. I do also want to say that we're giving out beta accounts, and you're going to learn how to get that on November 17th, on or about. Okay, on or about November 17th. If it's the 18th or 19th, don't crucify us. We want to give it to you right so that you can start playing with it and making pages. That's actually a week from Monday. Okay, so that's about a week and a half that we have to make improvements to where we feel it's beta ready. So what I'm going to be showing you today is an alpha build. Now, I can promise you there will be 3 to 4 to 5 or even 6 times that I click on something and my bold fonts just go to a default style. It was centered, it's going to go to the left, or whatever the case is, or I'll go to, do something and I'll notice that, the padding resets or something like that. We have a backlog of these different things that we're fixing. There are some of them that my team doesn't know. So I have 2 of our developers on the call today so that they can watch this alpha demo, right? This isn't the one that I'm going to be, launching on December 8th. So if you hear me do something and go, whoops, that's not good. Hey, Finn, can you make a note of that? Do you see how this is not working? And he's going to make a note so that we get it ready for beta and, of course, for alpha. Does that sound fair? That we might see a couple of maybe 3 to 4 different things break, and I do a call out, right? Because this is an alpha build. Okay, you guys are saying yes. I appreciate that, right? So having said that, let's move on. World premiere of Groovepages. We've reinvented the drag and drop page builders. All right. When you go to Groovepages and you log in, you're going to log into Groove Apps. And what you have unlocked will show here. This account, as you can see, doesn't have unlocked GrooveCell or GrooveMail or Webinar Groove or GrooveCart. And you can close this by just going like that. So if you want to go and do your products in your affiliate program, you'd click here. Or learn how you want to email your customers, your clients, your opt-ins, your leads, you go here. And if you don't want to use GrooveMail, in our integrations over here, you click on integrations and you add an integration, and we have different types of integration. We're going to have every single email platform out there that matters. And when I say that, I'm talking, yes, from the active campaigns to the send lanes, the send sharks, the MailChimps, the Awebers, get response, eye contact, all of those different things. They'll all be in there for you. Okay. So you can use any one that you want, or you could just use GrooveMail. Now, I'm demoing just Groovepages right now. We're going to talk about these 3 in just a minute, but we're going to be talking about how you can get access to just Groovepages. And then if you want to talk about how to get access to all those, I'll talk about that at the end. All right, so let's close this. And what we're seeing right here are the last few sites that that I played around with today. Okay, we're doing tests and we're checking to see how these things work. And now if you want to search for a site, you just type in the site here. You've got advanced filters so you can sort by page and creation, blah, 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 blah. You can find the site, but let's get down to business here. Okay, we're going to start with a blank template. Now, when we go live, you're going to see a tab up here that says pages, and there'll be drop downs like a 404 page or a 1-page eventer or whatever. And then you're going to see webinars, landing pages, upsell pages, one-time offers, product launch pages, tripwires, books. You follow what I'm saying. And then you'll go down and you'll see all the available templates here. Those are being made as we speak. We are importing the 450 blocks that we had with our, the previous. Many of you don't even know, but we'll just call that Free Page Builder Pro right now. That was our previous version till we that was worked on, for several years. But we wanted to start from the ground up. As we said, we didn't want to be a Me Too page builder. We wanted to, in fact, that previous page builder that we had, we licensed that to Kartra, my previous company. We own the license to Kartra's page builder. And we were going to build one built like that, but we wanted to leapfrog them, leapfrog ClickFunnels, leapfrog Wix and Squarespace and Lead Pages and all of them out there with what we're doing today. But right now, we don't have those templates in there. Now, I also want to let you know, when I open up this little thing here called Zeppelin, this is where you can see we designed. This isn't part of the app, but like this is where our designer goes and he designs all of the different blocks. What you're seeing here are prototype blocks. So those are all done. And what he's doing right now is he's doing what we call designer blocks. So if I click here, these are what we call covers that you will be able to, they're not in the system right now. I'm only going to be showing you prototype blocks. When we go live, we'll have the designer blocks. But you would just drag these blocks right over and then start editing them. And in just covers, there's over 30 of them, as I go down here. So you'll be able to just drag this over. If you don't like the color or the gradient or whatever, you can just bring them over like you want. If you want to change the image inside this iPhone, you can. I'm going to show you that in just a minute. Okay, so these are not in the system. These are being designed and then imported into the system, but I did want to let you know that we have them. Here's something that we do that nobody else can do. And I'm going to show you how you do that later. But we actually create what would the navigation look like in just a mobile phone. So we're creating, because we're mobile first, which means we can create templates for just a mobile website. So you could drag this block in, click, and it'll know it's just mobile only. It'll highlight it, and then these blocks won't show, and then you can design a block for desktop. And we're the only page builder that does that. So you can see today, this wasn't even here yesterday. He just uploaded, the testimonials. These are what they're going to look like in color. So what I want you folks to please understand, when I'm going to show you our mock-up blocks, they're going to be colorless. Okay, but we will have these as well. They're just not in the system. We got 5 weeks to go. So let's start with a blank template, just like this. I'll double click here, and we're loading the page builder. Now I want to let you know something else that's different about this. You could lose your internet, and with the exception of our auto saving in the background or publishing to the internet or saving your work, this entire thing will work. We actually load the entire framework into your browser. There are things called backend or sometimes called netcode. Okay, an email marketing platform is very heavy on netcode. It's what works in the background that makes your email go out. Groovepages is an 80% front-end app. That means we code everything to work in your browser. Your browser is doing all the work, and that's why we had to get away from Bootstrap like everybody else is using. Bootstrap came out in 2011. We're using the latest technology, and we're doing things that other people just can't do. So let's move on. The first thing that we're going to do is I'm going to have you look up here that this is the page I'm on. I'm going to click expert mode. That means I'm going to have more stuff available here in the palette. Okay, and I have one page here, but let's actually create a website. I'm going to create a website in the next 10 minutes and show you everything that we can do with it, and we will be done by the top of the hour building the complete website where I show you the different features to it. So first, let's add pages. Well, I already have a home page. Well, let's add another page. Didn't pick a template because I don't have them yet. Let's rename this one about. Okay, and I'm going to just check that box there. And look, if I want to do all of my stuff here, like all of my SEO page title, keywords, description, add this header code for Facebook and Google Analytics or custom plugin that you get from somebody, right? You can put it in the head, the body, or the bottom. If you want to do the social graph settings here, this is very important. You really want to do this when people share your page. What you can then do is say the #1 blah page and funnel builder, right? You put that there, and then you load the image with a call to action that says click here now. And you're basically saying when somebody drops this link into iMessage or Skype or Facebook, it will show this text and this image. You're basically making a call to action when they share. If you don't do that, well, then what those companies do is they find the first line of text, which might be your menu, right? And they'll take the first image, which might be your logo, and then they load it up really, really big, and it's all pixelated. And that's why people that don't have this into their software or don't even know what it is don't know how to use it. This isn't a training tutorial, so I'm not going to get too much in there. So this is just for that my About Us page, okay? Just the About Us page. If I want to work on my entire site settings, well, then I just go here and I do site settings, okay? And this is where I load my favicon. I want this header on every site in the site. No matter what page is shared, I want to do this. And let's name my site webinar demo. Now, I would never really call my site that, right? So let's move on over here, back to pages. I'm going to add another page. We're going to call this one, and I'm doing this for a reason, okay, why I'm building this out. I'm going to call this page media. I'm going to build another page called support. Let's make one called contact. We'll just put support. We'll just leave it like that. No, we'll put contact. And then I'm going to build 2 more pages. Okay, I'm going to build a page that I want to give away my freemium, my tripwire, my free ebook, right? A funnel page, an actual funnel page. So we're going to call that a free report, for lack of a better term. And now they need a place to download it. So we're going to click here, and this is the last page we're going to do, and I'm going to call this thank you download. Okay, and just like that, I've got 6 pages on my site. A couple of things is, I don't want this to show up in my navigation, because if you see, this is the navigation. It'll show up when I put a navigation bar up. So we're going to take this and drop it in hidden pages. And now I've got these pages outside of the funnel. Now I can move this. If I want to put the contact above the media, I can just change my navigation just like that. But I also don't want media showing in the navigation. I want it to be a drop down. So what I do is I just indent it over here like that. And now I've just created a drop down menu. So let's now go back to the home page where I don't have anything there, and let's start building blocks. So I'm going to go to my blocks. I'm going to go to my navigation bars, and I'm going to drag this thing over here just like that. And Finn, did you notice that there? Did I do anything wrong? What caused that?
That looks like a CSS issue loading. I'll make a note to look into that.
All right, I'll just delete that one, and let me just drag another block. I'm going to just save this, and I'm going to refresh the browser. Sometimes it reloads when you refresh. There you go. Okay, blah, blah, blah. All right, so what you're seeing here is my page navigation automatically shows up here for me. Home, about, with a drop-down menu. This is to let you know there's a drop-down. There's my contact page, and we pulled a button in from the template, okay? So if I were to say, like I said before, I want the contact page here, I just go like that, and I've changed the navigation of my site. Folks, this is absolutely amazing, the stuff that you can do here. If I want to change my logo, well, then what I do is I just go to background and I choose an image, and I'm going to upload an image, and I'm going to see if I have a Groove Digital logo. I'm just going to type logo and see what comes up here. Let's do this little one right here, and just, I've never done this before, folks, so I hope it works. I'm going to click upload, and there it is. Is the upload feature not working? I don't see it selected here. Oh, no, it didn't work there, Finn. But I know it was working when I do, let me just do something here. Let's do this, browse. Let me try from the stock library. Let me just pull up a logo here. I'm looking for like just a tiny little logo or something. I think this is going to be a little bit too big, some of these logos. I'm going to pull the Starbucks, and it'll probably be too big and oversize it. But let's just see what happens here. It's not even Starbucks, so. Hey, Finn, do you notice the images aren't loading here? They were just before we went live. I'm going to hit save. I'm going to reload the page.
Yeah, you might not have permissions to load images on the server, so we'll need to set you up with that.
Okay, thanks. Let me just change a background here. So what I'm going to do, let's move on. We now need and he's going to let me know when that works. We're going to put a cover image, right? And these are all the prototype blocks here. So let's do this one here with the video and the headline and a call to action button. Let's now add a footer. Okay, I like the ones with all the text on it and stuff like that. We'll drop that down there. Okay. Actually, I think now if I put it in the wrong position, I can just drag any drag handle and move it up like that. So, okay, there we go. Now let's add some content here. We'll add, just a little block like this. I think this one looks good. Let's see. We're just going to go down the line. We're going to add an alert bar up at the top. One of these things that says, expires, expires today. I can, color this whole bar, just real quick. I'll show you. I open up my style editor. I change my background to yellow like that, and there you go. I've got an alert bar, and I can adjust the borders here, probably by doing the spacing, and I believe that I can adjust my margins here like that. That's probably the padding is the one that I'd want to do. Things like that, nice and easy. But we'll get more into that in just a minute. I'm getting ahead of myself. We want to now build. Let's do this. Let's do what's called a contact. Okay. And I'm going to pull up this map right here, and this is contact us. Now check this out. I simply click right here, and I click config, and then I put an address for, well, right now it's pulling in my location. You can actually see where I live. I'm going to put in an address. Let's just get the address for, no, I'm going to go Petco Park in San Diego. Address. That's where I used to live. So I'm going to put this address in just like this. You would put your company's address in, right? I don't want to put my home address in right now because that's not necessary. So watch what happens here. I'm going to click update, and we get a map here. Now I can go in and resize it to fit any size I want, but you can see it automatically imports the map, for us. Let's add a couple of more things in here. Let's add a nice countdown timer right here. I'll do one with the circles in dark. We'll put that there. And if I want to configure the countdown timer, again, I just click configure. And can you tell Matt that I'm doing the demo webinar? He's calling me, please. We can do a fixed countdown timer, a daily, which means it automatically resets every day, or from the landing, it's a countdown, meaning I could set it to 10 minutes, like for a one-time offer, and it starts at 10 minutes, 9 minutes, 59 seconds. So that's like a countdown to 0 or a countdown to a date, or it just resets every night at midnight. So let's do a fixed, just show you how cool the calendar looks here. I could set this countdown timer to expire Sunday, and I hit next, and now it asks me the time, and I just say that let's go to 1 p.m., right? And Finn, we should probably just have that, in my opinion, start at 12 and 00 instead of those weird numbers. Okay, and we're just going to put a 0 here like that. And I've just now clicked update, and now I have a countdown timer that will, count down to that date. Look at that. I'm seeing it in my page, 2 minutes, 2 days, 20 hours, 7 minutes, and 11 seconds. Of course, we can change all the colors to all this. We're going to do that in just a second. Let's do a download box, right? We'll just put something like that, just a couple more folks. We'll do, I always want to add a form here because I use this in one of my examples. Let's do the one with the phone, put that there. Features, yada, yada, yada. I'm going to not put all these different things in, but I do like that we can add a gallery. I want to show you this. You're going to friggin' love that. Let's add a price table, right? You order a $1 trial, a regular price, and an annual. And let's do a testimonial. We need a hero testimonial above, and we need a triple testimonial below the pricing. And we'll take this little one right there. Okay, so just like that, I hit save. I also want to let you know something else. Check this out. I've got an undo feature. So if I type something here that, and I don't like, I don't like exactly what I type. Let me just find my text here. I got to hit text. And I don't like what I type. I just hit the undo button and it gets rid of it, right? Right there up at the top. I can also go over here. Check this out. I can go to my revisions and look at this. If you notice, I only saved it 3 times. It's automatically saving my work for me constantly. All I do is preview here, and if I want to select it, I go like that and I click use this version. But we're going to cancel because I like the current version that I have. It's looking pretty good. All right. So if you notice, when I click here on the text, I can now highlight the text and I get an inline editor where I can adjust some of the spacing here. Let me show you here. Well, that's the font, but we can do the line height, the line spacing, and the font. We can center it with the paragraph, and that's where we can do all the different things like for SEO. This is very important. Underline, of course. We can put a hyperlink, to anything there as well. And we can also do things like change the color of the font. You have custom colors. Of course, you can add hex colors. Let's just make it dark blue right there. Remember, I told you some of these things were resetting that I noticed. So then, I have to go and adjust the size of these different things. I'm not quite sure why that's happening. It only started happening today. I asked them to do some pushes to the server, and a couple of things are breaking. But we said that would happen. But there you go. You could see. All right. So let's look at how fast. Oh, and by the way, if I want to get the code for any one of these blocks, I can get the actual code. Or if I want to see the code for the entire page and actually manipulate code, I can do that here. That's not actually the under the hood feature that I was talking about. The under the hood feature is if I'm working on a button and I've got all the stuff I can do here. Every one of our panels has a custom attribute where you drop your custom CSS, you give it an element, name, stuff that I don't even know, and then you say, how does it display? So yes, you can do anything that you can imagine with this page builder. So let's move on to just a couple of things. Let's preview the site and see how it looks. Okay, and you notice the thing just loads, right? It's not pulling all these different images in. So remember, folks, what I'm doing is in mock-up mode, and then I can go and I can design this any way that I want. Or you'll be able to use the designer blocks. But if this looks gray and drab, let's clean it up. Let's take this background, okay, and give it a background color. I can change it to white, or I could change it to black, or I can change it to dark blue. And then I'll probably have to go in here and take the text and make the text white so that it looks better. Remember, I overrode that to blue, so I'd have to use the font editor to do that. Okay. If you're also noticing that I have, and Finn, if you look when I click on some of these new things, they don't have grab handles. If I click on this button here, every element has a drag handle, and I can place this anywhere I want. And if you're seeing on the left of it right now, that's where we call the ghost image. That's where it currently is. If I hover here, I see a ghost image at the bottom or at the top or above here or like this. So I'm going to move it here just as an example, and I can drag it right back over to here just like that. Pretty cool. Let's move on to some other really cool things. Let's change this button to a Belcher button. So I just changed the background to yellow. Choose this yellow here. Perry Belcher's button. It's yellow with black text. So we go to the text. We change the color to black. Okay. And now just like that. The only thing is, for this particular page, I want to have a rounded button. So I simply go over to the borders, and I can do different border stuff and blah, blah, blah. But I'm just going to use this to round the border just like that. And I've made a round button. Now we're going to have in your elements here where you can just grab buttons, you're going to have round buttons, square buttons, large buttons. But I'm just showing you that how you can style something any way you want. Okay. So now next thing I want to do is, I don't want to have to keep styling this button everywhere on the page. So check this out, guys. Nobody has this feature. Watch this. Pay attention right here. I'm going to go into this thing called Global Styles. I don't have any yet. So I'm going to create a new style, and I'm going to call this Belcher Button. Now I can use this anytime I want. So let's see what that means. Let's go down to this button right here, and I'm going to click on Styles, drop down, Belcher button, and I just got that to be yellow. And we can do that here as well. And now this form just has to be sized because the text is a little bit too big to fit there. We can do it here as well. make that say Belcher button, just like that. Let's show you a couple of other examples as well. Finn, if you also notice it centered that back to the left when I added the style, maybe because it was saved that way, I guess. And if I wanted to do the spacing, I always get confused where to center this thing. How would I center that? Is that in sizing? And you could certainly make it, the buttons bigger and smaller relative to page, different things like that. Finn, if you could chime in here and tell me how to center this button. I always forget. I think Matt showed me that the other day in Finn's not around. I think he's off working on the server for us. I do forget. I think I remember. And we're going to have a little button here in spacing that says center, left, and right. I remember going over this with Matt. I have to make this say auto on both sides, I believe. And then, no, I forget. All right, either way, I apologize, guys. I forget how to center that button. Or did that actually do it? Yeah, there you go. Okay. Well, whatever. Let's move on. We're going to have buttons that'll say left, center, and right, etc. Now, what I want to do is I want to change this. Let me see here in this configuration. Let me show you how. I'm going to delete this. I want to show you how I can add a slider. This is pretty cool. Let's add, I think it's called a carousel. So I'm going to drag this in right here. Now we don't have anything in the carousel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say I want this carousel to loop and play. This is milliseconds. So every 1,000 milliseconds is a second. So I want to have 3 slides. And now I have to add the images to the slides. And I think we can't do that yet. I'm going to have to come back because my previous images aren't saving here. Let me just see. Let's type in house and add this house to there. This was literally working an hour ago. And I'm going to literally strangle the guy that was working on the server if he was working on this just before my demo. I won't be able to show you this, unfortunately. Well, once I had that.
Mike. Because it's the dev server, not the production server, we'd have to redeploy. So we're going to have to leave out images for just now, I'm afraid. Sorry about that.
Okay. What happened? It was working just before I went live.
It was redeployed, and we need to reset you up for that.
Anything we can do now or no?
Dev server, not production server. Afraid not.
Okay. So what happens when you go live, guys? These things happen. I'm just adding 3 images that it thinks is there just to demo this. What you'd have to imagine is a picture of Santa Claus, somebody skiing, and a house right here, and a cat that I've literally just had that before. And I would click update. And now, you know what? Hold on just a second, folks. Hold on. I'm going to save this site. And I'm going to just go to, I just did a demo for Matt Ford about an hour ago. And if that site is here, I can just click right here and edit that site. And if those images actually load, okay, this is what should have happened, folks, okay? Remember I said Santa Claus, and when I click on this, let me see here. Where's my container for that? But anyway, you saw we have the images that when we preview the site, you can toggle through the images. Well, they should be floating. This also broke in between when they pushed to the live server, guys, just letting you know. So one of the other things I wanted to show you that I won't be able to show you now is that you could actually load images into these things as well. So I'm going to show you how that works, but I don't think it's working. So I won't be able to demo it on the page that I built. But essentially, you go onto the device here. Let me see if I can actually click the device. It looks like you guys switched back from the component thing. I can't even access the, oh, it's just a container. Yeah, I can't access this image here. So, all right, folks. But what I wanted to show you is that you can drag things in like in your elements. We have things like a desktop, a laptop, a tablet vertical, a phone, a watch, or a browser, and then you could just upload the image into that. I'm going to get out of this. I'm trying not to lose my shit that somebody decided to do an update just before I went live when we had that working. I'm like in strangle somebody's neck mode right now. Let me go back to the site that I was working on. Okay. Oh, I think Finn was probably just doing a test because that's not the site I was working on. Mine was called Webinar Demo. So let's open that. Okay, so what you can do is you can go into something like this, click on this, click the configuration, choose if it's a light or a dark iPhone, upload an image, which I can't right now, search for an image or upload from your hard drive and pick any image that you want. And when you're done, you hit select, and then that image shows right inside of the actual desktop, laptop, browser, iWatch, or iPhone. And remember, these are prototype modes. When we're actually in something like this, and I don't know if any of these have like like an iPhone. I'm just taking a quick peek. Okay, let's see right here. When we actually have a real iPhone where it'll look like this, it'll load up inside of the iPhone or the desktop like that. Remember, we're just in prototype mode. Okay, so moving on, let me show you a couple of other things with just this is a preview page with the builder. What I want to do now is I want to create a pop-up for you, okay? And in order to do that, let's get rid of this block because it has a bad image. I don't like staring at it. Where was that? Right here. So any block that we don't want, we can trash. Any block that we like, that we just worked hard on, we can click the clone button and create another one right underneath it. And if we don't want that, we can delete it. And if we don't like its positioning, we can drag it up and down and put it anywhere that we like. All that different type of stuff. Okay. And so let's now go and add a pop-up, 2 of them. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to create our first pop-up, and I'm going to call this webinar button pop-up. And that's a standard. I can do an exit, an entry, or whatever. We're going to do a standard, and I can choose, does it show on all pages or just a home page, or I could select 3 or 4 of these different pages. Let's just say right now, just the home page. And we're going to do maybe give away, try to get their, let's do this one right here. Whoops, click. Okay, I would go here, enter my configuration, hit save. Now I've got a pop-up button, but let's also create another pop-up when people are leaving our site. Hey, don't leave just yet. So we're going to call this exit demo because I'm just giving it a name, and it's an exit pop-up. And now I can say show on every visit and annoy people, or only on the first visit, little features like that. So we'll say we'll say every visit, and let's do one with the countdown timer to show some urgency. And I would edit my text here and all that good stuff. I'm going to hit save and exit. And that was for the pop-up. I'm saving the site here as well. Got content saved properly. So we're going to click our preview button, and we have 2 pop-ups that we're looking for. Okay, number 1 is the button. So let's click on that. And oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't set the button. I set the pop-up, but I didn't go in the button and tell it what to do. My bad. We have to configure the button to tell it. Let's go to get free gift, right? And where do we want to link that to? Another page in the site, another block on the site, to anchor down somewhere else, a third-party URL like CNN.com, or to a pop-up. Well, once I choose pop-up, it says, okay, Mike, which pop-up? The webinar button. I click update. It says get free gift. Okay, let's save it now. And now we'll get our confirmation here. I'm going to click preview. And now, Finn, I want you to look at this. If you're not looking, when I hover over this after I create a pop-up, if you notice, I'm not getting the arrow anymore. But when I click on the button, as you can see, it now opens up that first pop-up that we created, just like that. Finn, also these X's, they don't work. Okay, it only works when you click out. So just letting you know. So that's how you can actually create a pop-up to a button. But let's also, I see we had the exit pop-up, right? Let me just refresh that one more time. We're going to do a preview. And now when the person is going through your website and they want to get out and they go out, it pulls up the exit pop. So we just created an exit pop-up for you as well. So one last thing, just letting you know like how these things work. Like every time you click on something, you get a style editor and you get a configuration. The configuration is unique to that particular product. If I click on the countdown timer, you notice my configuration is going to change over here because we are dealing with a countdown. So let's see, let's move up through the dome tree until we get to the the countdown timer. And I think I lost my configuration tab. There should be a configuration that we had earlier. But let me give you a different example. When we click on the button here, we can style it, or we can configure where it's going to go. Finn, I don't know if you saw that. I lost the config on the countdown timer, unless I'm doing something wrong. And some of the other things is, if you've ever noticed, sometimes you're going through those softwares where you're hovering over and it's very, very hard to find the exact element that you're looking for. So we have a feature that allows you to go up through what's known as the dome tree down here, right? So right now I'm in the body block, but when we get really down here, I'm in something called the container. And if I really want to just move up, I just hit the arrow and I can select the parent frame to those different things, or you'll be able to just click down here and move up through it as well. Two more things we're going to show you. One is that when you want to see how this looks on a desktop, well, there you go. On a laptop, you click here, and you can see how it's going to look on a laptop. You can see how it's going to look on an iPad, and obviously I designed a very weird site because I didn't load images up or anything like that, or change my background colors. And if I want to see what it looks like on a mobile, I can do that. But here's the important thing. There are some things that you may not want to show on a mobile device. Okay, so when you click on them, what you then do is you can click apply this styling only to a mobile device, and now I can go and apply the styling, or I can say show or don't show on a desktop or a mobile device. So I may not want something to show on a mobile device because it's pushing my headline, my button down too much. So that's entirely up to you. So you can completely design how a site's going to look for a desktop or a mobile device. That's really important, especially in today's mobile friendly world. And let me just show you last thing here. We have like what are called elements. So if I want to create a new grid with 4 columns right here, but not pre-made content, I'm going to add my own stuff. Well, then I can just I got to create a new block first. So I create an empty block, and over here you can see I can say like how many columns do I want, and I simply just go like this, and now I have a block with 4 columns in it. 1, 2, 3, and 4, just like that. And then I can drag any type of element that I want in there. If I want to add, if I want to add text into this block right here, I can do that. If I want to add a tab section, which is probably not a good idea, so I'm not going to do that there. I'll add, let's say, like a button into the second block. I want to add an image into the third block, and I want to add a YouTube video into the fourth block. I just do just that. And I can see that I don't like the padding here, so I think I would go to spacing, and I can add more padding here like that, so I can adjust that. I can also add some at the bottom as well, a little more room right there. I can now click on this YouTube video, click on the configurations, and change the YouTube ID and change the YouTube video. If I want to change how the YouTube video looks inside the page, I can click relative to parent and then just make it a little bit bigger, or whatever the case is, or I think this full, and it automatically fills it in. So I want to maybe center that a little bit. So again, we can go to the spacing and add a little bit of padding there, to move it, center it down a little bit more like that. Basically, that's what we meant. This is like the standards of design of anything that's in Keynote or PowerPoint, or the Photoshops for people that like Photoshop. We didn't reinvent the rule creating a style editor. This is what our UI UX guy did, and Finn, who's on there, is the person that actually built out the app with his team, working with Matt Nouse. So okay, folks, that is Groovepages. Again, when you go into the blocks, you're going to have a little tab up here that says prototype blocks, and that's what we worked with today. And then you're going to have designer blocks, and that's where you're going to get all your blocks that look like these things, so where you'll be able to have pre-made, gorgeous looking, footers and headers and navigation that actually is pre-styled for you. That's what you can expect. So imagine if I was dragging these things onto the block, I wouldn't have to really change the buttons. They're already styled for me, right? So you're gonna have the 450 that we have from our legacy product, plus all these gorgeous new modern ones that we're doing. And then we're going to turn, after we're done with the blocks, then we're going to create pages, then we're going to create funnels, and then we're going to create websites. This stuff does take time, and that's what's being done. We've got another 5 weeks to go. We'll probably only have about 20% of the blocks. We'll have the blocks ready when we go live, but we'll probably only have 20% of the funnels. And then 2 weeks later, we'll have 50%. And then by January 1st, we'll probably have close to 100%. And then we can start building out more stuff for you. But we want to get the application out to everybody. So I'm not going to look yet what you guys have been saying. I'm sure there's a lot of different questions. I hope I answered all of your questions, like, does it do funnels? So let me answer some broad questions. It's going to integrate with everything. It's going to do all your funnel pages, but it's not going to do the logic of the funnel. GrooveCell's actually going to do that. That's it. I think you can now see that when we have the premium designs, you're at the point where you can design any single thing that you want with padding and margins and center, left, top, right, backgrounds. I didn't even get into all this other stuff. You can do all different types of shadows. All the stuff I didn't get into it. Look at this. This is transparency for the entire block right here. So what that means is I could lower the transparency of everything, including the font color, the yellow, the image that would be here, everything, everything in this whole blue section, all at once. I can adjust the transparency. So I need to actually select the parent block to do that. And you can see now every single thing in here went transparent. Everything. From the button to the text to the fonts of every element in there. Or I can do that just in this particular block right here. Or I can do it in the parent frame, which is here. So all of the items in here will now go transparent, but not the blue background. The amount of ability that you can do. Now, before we get back to the presentation and how you can become a beta tester for this and get a lifetime access and never have to pay again, ever, period, ever. What you simply do is, what was I just going to say? What did I just say I was going to show? Totally lost my train of thought. Wow, lost my train of thought. What did I just say? Something about the transparency. Oh, this is our goal for this product. The left side of the product over here is what we feel you will be using most of the time. If we design this product right, meaning when you go to add a page and you see all of your templates here, I told you this would have your funnels, your product launch funnels, your webinar funnels, your tripwire funnels, every single template you could imagine for a page or a funnel or a website will be here, everything. And then you will have individual blocks that look like these things here in designer mode, thousands of them, or in prototype mode like we have here. Like if you just want to lay out your site and then design it to your color specifications without having to go back and change all the images that are in the designer blocks, change this image, change this color, right? Sometimes it's easy to start with a prototype. We want to have all those choices for you over here. And then when it comes to elements, you can see right now we just have one button. But the button, you're going to see rounded button, square button. And then you're going to see tiny, small, medium, large, extra large, full width. And you'll be able to just drag all of those different things in. And our goal is that if we have all of the features in here for you, with every single choice you can imagine, then you'll probably never have to go over to the styler. But there is a styler, and we want to make it this. If you want the easy mode, you get out of expert mode, and it takes out a lot of the different features. A lot of the things go away. If you want the expert mode, we give you more stuff like custom CSS and applying styles, right? And this is if you need to customize stuff. And our job is to keep you out of here. If we have every element in a block, a page, and a template that you need, and all you've got to do is go change the text, then we've done our job right. But then if you need a little bit more, I would say, it's intermediate. It's not advanced. It would be all that stuff is for you here, where you can change your padding and doing different things like that, right? You'll have all those different choices here, and then all the way up to the advanced with the expert mode settings. So it's something for everyone, and that's the way that we built this out. So let's get back to the presentation I'm going to tell you how you can get access to this today. And let me just look in here, folks. While I'm loading up my keynote, I'm going to come back in 30 seconds. Do me a favor. Obviously, this is an alpha. Type in here what you thought of the product. You can put in a scale of 1 to 10, what you thought, a scale of 1 to 100, or you could just say, love it, excited, can't wait to get my hands on it, not impressed, whatever the case is. I'm curious. So Brent says super. Vinjay says amazing, 10, 10, 10, 10. 10 absolutely, looks promising, Michael. I like that, looks promising, right? With an exclamation point. I agree, right? Give us till December 8th. Tracy says, awesome. Wesley, can't wait. I bought Groovepages. What's the difference? We're going to go over all those questions. If you have Groovepages, you have this already, so don't worry. If you back this project with our Kickstarter project. 1 million. Thank you very much. Excited. Looks great. Excellent planning tool. Very impressed. Wanted. Desperately waiting to get my hands on it. 10, 10 blah, 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 and it just keeps going on. No joke. Awesome. Looking forward to it. 1 million. Looks great. Very excited. Fantastic. Kicks ass. I'm looking forward to it. More, more, more. All right. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to pull back to my keynote. I'm going to pull this thing back in and hit play. And then I'm going to tell you how you can get access to